What if millions of robots, literally no bigger than an ant, could build an entire futuristic city overnight? Just imagine it. You look inside a dark, dusty toolbox, you watch a tiny machine snap awake, and then, in literally just 30 seconds, you're staring at a sweeping, bioluminescent metropolis. It sounds totally like science fiction, right? But honestly, this is exactly what modern AI video generators are pulling off today. So today, we're going to reverse engineer an absolute cinematic masterpiece of a 30-second short. We're diving into the exact production screenplay, the AI shot descriptions, and the underlying logic to see exactly how it manipulates the 2026 shorts retention curve, because this isn't just about making pretty pictures. No, this is about cinematic engineering, perfectly designed to captivate the human brain. Welcome to The Explainer. I am so incredibly excited you're here with us because we're unpacking a direct blueprint for crafting viral, ultra-realistic educational AI content. If you want to know how the absolute pros are using tools like Sora 2 and Runway Gen 3 Alpha to completely dominate short-form media, well, you're in exactly the right place. Here is our blueprint for today. We're covering 1, the shorts retention algorithm, 2, Pixar and macro aesthetics, 3, awakening the micro-robots, 4, the rapid construction phase, 5, a bioluminescent city celebration, and 6, designing the perfect loop. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the shorts retention algorithm. Okay, so to actually succeed here, we've got to balance cinematic art with some pretty strict platform rules. In 2026, 65% is the magic number. That's the average view duration gate a 30 to 45-second short absolutely must clear if you want the algorithm to push it. And to hit that massive target without just slapping text overlays everywhere, our robotic city has to rely on extreme visual density. The structural pacing is engineered to deliver a pattern break or some kind of visual surprise, like a sudden lighting shift or a massive macro zoom every 1.5 to 2 seconds. That is what keeps the viewer totally glued without overwhelming them. Moving on to Section 2, Pixar and macro aesthetics. So, how do you actually cram millions of tiny robots into a single frame without it just looking like a bunch of noisy static? Well, you use a 24mm macro probe lens effect. The AI is specifically prompted to mimic that classic National Geographic micro-documentary style. See, a traditional macro lens flattens space out, but this specific wide-angle macro setup lets the virtual camera stay literally millimeters away from the robots, all while keeping the vast background environment perfectly in view. It's a brilliant technique, really, because it prevents the miniature subjects from feeling disconnected. It makes a tiny little workbench feel like this massive, grand metropolis. Now, to manage all this visual density, the creators actually borrowed straight from Pixar's playbook. They use cognitive shape language and color scripting to replace dialogue entirely. It's so smart. Notice how the heavy excavators are modeled with these boxy, square contours in terracotta orange? That immediately conveys structural power. Meanwhile, the swift welding drones use aerodynamic, triangular shapes in electric cyan. The viewer instantly understands the exact role of each robot just by taking in its shape and its color. No explanation needed. All right, Section 3, Awakening the Micro-Robots. Let's break down the actual chronological build now. Starting with those crucial first 5 seconds. The sequence opens in pitch black. Using Sora 2 Pro's image-to-video generation, the creators set a macro close-up with a slow dolly-out parameter of -3.0. We're suddenly inside this dark, dusty wooden toolbox. And the AI just beautifully renders the realistic physics here. I mean, if you look closely, you can actually see fine dust motes floating through the air, perfectly caught in the warm internal filament glow of the robot. It is stunning. This brilliantly illustrates the sheer power of multidimensional audio design too. The visual is accompanied by a sharp, metallic click-click, and this low electronic riser. These very specific sensory audio cues, combined with the spherical, almost friendly design of the brass robot, evoke just immense curiosity and focus right at the dawn of the time-lapse. You are instantly hooked. There's no way you're swiping away. Which brings us to Section 4, the rapid construction phase. Now the real action begins. This spans from seconds 5 right up to 17. For this heavy lifting phase, the production pipeline switches over to Runway Gen 3 Alpha to take advantage of its advanced camera controls. The prompt parameters dictate a slow pedestal down, shifting into a high-speed horizontal glide right, and boom, we see heavy industrial power. thousands of miniature square excavators digging soil in terracotta morning light, followed immediately by aerodynamic wedges lifting raw steel. It's a total rush. But to absolutely guarantee that 65% retention metric we talked about, the creators throw in a brilliant pattern break. Right at exactly 11 seconds, a sudden midday rain shower hits. Water droplets actually streak the camera lens, and steam literally rises from the hot welds as those triangular drones zap the grass skyscrapers. It is exactly this type of sudden, highly atmospheric visual surprise that just completely stops viewers from scrolling past. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth does this 30-second shot look so completely seamless across totally different AI models? Well, it's all thanks to the first and last frame technique. By taking the final frame of the first shot and using it as the initial prompt frame of the second shot in Runway Gen 3, the model mathematically blends the motion right across the transitions, so the camera moves continuously without any jarring visual jumps whatsoever. It's just a totally flawless pipeline. Section 5. A bioluminescent city celebration. We're moving rapidly from construction to completion now. The camera executes this massive, sweeping, aerial orbital flyover for the grand finale, spanning seconds 17 to 30. The color script dynamically shifts from overcast daylight into a really warm magenta sunset. We're watching a continuous time-lapse of hundreds of robots installing winding rivers, splashing fountains, and these glowing autonomous highways. The scale just expands so dramatically as the camera ascends. And the payoff? It's absolutely incredible. We finally reach this deep, bioluminescent night sky. Millions of micro-robots gather on the high terraces, waving their glowing arms. You can literally feel the emotional triumph here. It's punctuated by a massive cinematic brass hit in the audio track and neon blue lights tracing the highway lines far below. It's a total sensory feast. Finally, Section 6. Designing the perfect loop. Just look at how perfectly the emotional arc and the time-lapse pace themselves to secure the algorithm's absolute favorite metric, the rewatch. We went from cold cobalt curiosity to terracotta industrial power to magenta architectural harmony and finally arriving at a bioluminescent celebration. The viewer is completely hypnotized, constantly anticipating what the next visual phase is going to be. But here is the real magic trick, the infinite loop. In the final 2 seconds, the starry night sky softly transitions right back into a golden dawn. And simultaneously, the audio track blends perfectly back into that opening metallic click-click of the toolbox. It's genius because it tricks the viewer's brain. They're already a full second into their next rewatch before they even realize the video has ended. So, what about turning all those looped views into actual subscribers? Well, the creators don't just yell "subscribe" at you. No, as the dawn breaks, a clean, semi-transparent call-to-action overlay appears strictly within the central safe viewing area. It pulses with this soft neon glow that seamlessly matches the city's lights. Providing a visually integrated next step like that, it converts highly engaged viewers so much better than generic, boring text blocks ever could. We've just reverse-engineered an absolute masterclass in AI generation today, from Sora 2's incredible macro physics all the way to Runway's seamless camera glides. At last, our breathtaking futuristic metropolis is complete under the night sky. The tools to manipulate time, scale, and cinematic emotion are literally right at your fingertips now. So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. With millions of digital micro-robots waiting for your command, what impossible world will you build next?